There we are live. Okay, very good, very good, very good. This is getting recorded anyway, so it's been a last minute. Make sure my microphone's on, a last minute one, so probably not a great deal of people coming on. However, if you are coming on, give me a thumbs up, make sure that you can hear it fine. A few coming on already, good. And you can see it and hear it okay. So let me know. It's going to be a little bit different because I was going to record this one earlier anyway, but I've just had literally like no time to actually do the recording. So, thumbs up, good, Martin, thank you, good, hear me, excellent. Yeah, okay. What's that say? Corinne, cool, excellent, love it. All good. Hi, Kelvin. So everybody can hear. Good. Hi, Michelle. All the way down in Cornwall, isn't it, Michelle? Cornwall. And you put your name on this time. That's good. Okay, Colin. Hi, Colin. Young man. Oh, that's me. I'm young. Debbie, excellent to see you. Still early as well. It's good, isn't it? You know, it's like people coming on. It's quite early on. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Debbie. Just remember, if you're on Facebook and you haven't put your name in, Devon, right? Okay, Michelle. Then I can't see who it is. It just says Facebook user. So hi, Facebook users. All right. If you're going up onto there. Oh, hi, Lydia. Fit Lake. All right. Good. So then I've got some very, very weird stuff we're going to go over tonight. Well, it's not actually, but I'm going to be like going over a few different things. Hello, Andrew. Hi, Chris. You know, and it ties in. It does tie in, right, with everything that's been sort of like going on, even going on with like me. I'm going to touch on a few things, but I've got to be careful what I say. Things going on. Hiya, Petri. Good to see you, man. You know, yeah. Hi, David. How you doing? Hi, Dimeball. Hola. ¿Qué pasa? All right. So then. Just to keep myself going. What time is it there now? What time is it? Just after 1:30. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. Let people jump on. There's already 47 on there. That's cool. Very good. Thank you, Facebook user again. Just remember, Facebook, if you don't put, I don't know how to do it, by the way, they tell you, but you've got to do something with it to put your name in. Oh, Born Day. Well, happy Born Day to you, Chris. Muy bien, gracias. Bueno. Oh. Cerveza para mí. Okay. Good. So there's quite a few on anyway. I didn't expect that many to come on. Would have just been last minute. I know that I can't get on all the time, and like the last couple of weeks has been like whoa, so busy, like even more. And I've been dealing with tons of stuff, like you know, on from my own stuff and all. You know, hi Elizabeth, hey Bob, and you know, I've had to deal with a lot of like, well, I can't say too much because it's like there's stuff going on and court cases and DSOs coming up that I'm having to get stuff done. Private investigators chasing things for me. So I just got to be a bit careful with what I say. But hi, Andrew. The thing is, hi, Elizabeth. The thing is, like, you know, which I think is quite funny, right? Hi, Chris. Is like, you know, you're dealing with these people at the front end, right? Call them like bailiffs if you want, the clowns in costumes, and you know, I tell you what it is now. Like, you know, and I'm talking 100% from first-hand knowledge. straight in your face. What a bunch of morons. You wouldn't have an ounce of common sense in any of them. Absolutely no idea of the law or even the legal or anything. The ignorance is outstandingly amazing. You know, and in a lot of ways, I find it quite shocking that there would be so much ignorance around. Still, now, we've been trying to help a lot of people this week with what happened to me and trying to make sure that they're armed, you know, with the information that of what goes on. You know, when you've gotten these literal like clowns in costumes coming up that lie straight to your face. You know, actually getting onto the phone, right, on the phone with the court, right? Okay, so we need to find out if there's a warrant for me. No warrant for me, right? You're the magistrate's court. No warrant for me. Blah 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 blah. All right, no warrant for me. Don't care. What do you mean you don't care? Like, what kind of answer is that? You know, like we're going to do it anyway. You know, it's like, I've just been on the phone to the magistrate's court. You say that there's a warrant for me, and then like they've just point blank said there's no warrant. That name, that address, that corresponding what do you call it, reference number doesn't exist. You know, and they're like, don't care. You know, it's like unbelievable. And the thing is, you've just got to let things play out sometimes in their own way, because there's nothing that you can, unless you want to end up like getting like, you know, months in jail for punching them in the face, and that's not really going to get you very far. You've got to let things play out and then do it, like which I'm doing through paperwork, private detectives, where we can build a case up of showing that it was completely and utterly fraudulent. And then, you know, make them suffer. And they should, because like at the end of the day, you know, like if they're going to be going that badly out of their job, out of their, and I just don't mean the clowns, I mean about jumping out of their oath, but like everyone just like point blank lying because they think it's clever or funny or whatever, financial gain, getting their 30 pieces of silver. So, you know, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to record everything, like, and what happens, so that we can show you step by step on how to deal with it on the law and using, but also legal, because if they're not even going to follow their own rules, then, you know, it makes it easier for us to actually fight them. Now, I'm going to be jumping onto the board. I'm going to go over some stuff, historical stuff, but like to try and explain where we're going, and a couple of things that I want people to think of. All I'm doing is giving you information. That's all I'm ever doing. No matter what it is, it could be on law or legal, property, taxes. I'm never telling anyone what to do. I'm not giving you any advice or anything. Look, it's down. I want you to be a man and a woman and make your own decisions and stand there as in your own power as a man and a woman using the information. I'm just giving you information. All right. You have to take that information and then do research, and then let's crack on from there, because it's vitally important that everyone does all their own research, and the better educated that we can be, then the easier it is for us to actually correct a flagrantly like misguided system that is broken and does not work and needs to be corrected. And it can only be corrected by mankind, for mankind, to make it far better for man and woman, because everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. So anyway, just I want you to think about some things and give you some ideas, to give you some things to sit back tonight and think on, and then have a research for yourself about like some mysteries about things that have gone on in the past. All right. So I know I like going on history anyway. I love studying history, always did. So we're going to go back. Look, I want you to check this guy out. He's called Francis de Orellana. I don't know how to say that name. If that was Spanish timeball, it would be Orellana. All right, because it's the double L. But anyway, Orellana for everyone else. Okay, Francis de Orellana. Now, he was a Spanish conquistador, which were hideous people anyway. You know, I'm not being funny. But like the conquistadors, that's their name for conquerors. All they did was go and murder loads and loads of different people, you know. And every single time these conquistadors went out, right, and when before this, well, it's written down there, Pizarro, that guy there, right, they were going and they were killing all of these Indians that were in like South America because, you know, they weren't converting to Christianity, you know, because these were too civilized. Yeah, they wanted them to become murderers like them. But all I want you to do is just think about this. This is a fantastic story, all right, and amazing. Just makes you think. And I'm talking about bringing it forward as well to today, what's happening today, and then compare the two and think about it. All right, that's what I want you to do. So you've got Francis de Orellana, right, Spanish conquistador. Now I'm only taught he lived longer than this, but this is the 2 years I'm looking at, 1541 to 1542. All right. Now, that's an R. It's amazing what he did if he hadn't went and killed everybody while he was doing it, right? But he actually went from the east side of the Amazon to the west, right the way across, all right? So, like, you know, I mean, it must have just been absolutely horrendous to travel that way. I read some of the stories. I mean, most of them died. Most of the sailors died, you know. It was very few that actually got back. Anyway, right along the Amazon River, you know, in them 1541, 1542, you know, never had a single bit of antibiotics with them. But I bet you the places was loaded with them, really. The Amazon rainforest, they probably had more like natural medicine and natural goodness in it than you can get from any pharmaceutical company. All right, that's for sure. Okay. So he before he did this, right, he participated, out of the way, in like the conquest of Peru, and that was like in 1535, just before that, still down in South America with that Francisco Pizarro. He's probably the one that you'll know if you've ever read about it and about all of the gold and everything that they thought was there, and basically completely, you know, ruined and robbed everybody that they could find anywhere in South America. So this guy here, though, this is the one I want to talk about. But in 1535, this is where he got his fame from that allowed him to do this. If he hadn't have been with him doing this, he would have never got the chance to do that, okay? Now, think about what they're doing, why I'm showing you it, and what's happening today. And it's not happening there, it's happening now with us, all right? This is what I'm talking about. This is why I want to show you. So have you ever heard of that word, or that term? I don't know if it's a town or whatever, El Dorado. You ever heard of that? That's like the what is it? The myth or the legend of all the gold, you know? But the thing was, okay, that guy, he actually went across from the east all the way over to the west, and he recorded these massive civilizations, huge cities with millions of people, massively like civilized, organized towns, cities, links and roads, everything linked together. So everybody just says, oh yeah, they were after the, you know, it was all about the gold and everybody's in gold, so they robbed all the gold. You know, I'm not saying they didn't rob the gold. He didn't, because he didn't have a chance to. But he reported, like, basically right the way across from the east side of the Amazon River, once you got away from where they had landed, going right the way across, tons of connections, tons of villages, towns and cities, and millions of people. All right. And then later on, it was basically, they tried to say that he was a liar. All right, and he was like making it all up, and he was trying to hide away from everybody by making up these lies, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, he did return to go and seek all of this and find it all again. He returned back in 1546, and he returned with next to nothing. Nobody wanted to give him anything. The Spanish didn't want to give him anything. He tried to get it from the Portuguese, because they were all fighting over who now owned the land. They obviously didn't own anything. But so he went back in 1546, and unfortunately for him, he drowned in 1546 right in the mouth of the River Amazon. The other rivers are going flowing into the main river, and he capsized and drowned in his own ship right at the beginning of it. Okay, so he could never show anybody where El Dorado was. All right, but forget El Dorado being like where all the gold and the mystery and everything like that. I'm talking about the civilization he had reported and the sailors, all the connections, all the roads, all right, on here, right? They all just said he was a liar. Just said that because he had failed and not brought anything back with him, that there was no great cities, there was no roads, there was no civilizations. But this is what was reported by him. Obviously, he was the boss and the sailors as well, that there was massive connections going all the way through. And a lot of them were organized armies, and they were fighting and getting killed quite a lot as well. Okay, so after he was killed, obviously, there was a few people went back to try and find all this. But when you look at now, I mean, you got to look at, they just got these little wooden ships and trying to go over there. It was a miracle that any of them ever did anything, really, isn't it? But let's fast forward to today. Well, not maybe it's today, but like you got 2003, there was a guy called Michael Heckenberger. Now, you got to remember now, we're going into these, unfortunately, I don't want to be doing it, they're going into the forests and the Amazon and rainforests, and they're clearing a lot of it. And as they're clearing it, they're discovering all of these cities. Well, we've found major cities, haven't we? Not just like in Peru and everything, but like further down, right across the Amazon, they're finding more and more and more. Massive extension, we've got discovered massive and extensive earthworks. That's foundations showing that there was masses of buildings and towns and cities, and also roads, right? And it's connecting towns for hundreds of miles right the way along the Amazon, right? So what this guy had said, Francis, right, all years and years and years ago, now they're saying that they're finding them now because they're going in with obviously a lot greater technology and unfortunately digging and getting rid of the forests and everything. And they're finding it. The towns, all the foundations where they were, right? Hundreds of miles of roads, if not thousands of miles of roads. Now, there's also a guy, and he's called Gregoria. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, De Souza. Now, he's got satellite images. And it shows, all right, massive civilization. You can actually see it from there, and it can show the shape of them and how far it went across as well. And they are showing it for hundreds and thousands of miles, connecting everything as it's going across, all right, all the way along the Amazon on both sides. All right, so not only are we seeing it now, unfortunately, because I don't like them doing it, but digging up the Amazon and going out and everything, but also on the satellite pictures from above showing it all there. Now, all I'm saying about that there, right, this proves point blank that this civilization was there and disappeared, like just gone. So where did it go? Now, I don't know. That's me asking you a question. It's like putting the seeds into your minds to think, they're trying to put us through something now. What has ever gone on before? Now, I did listen to one guy, can't remember where it was now, and he was saying, oh, yeah, because they introduced smallpox. Well, they may or may not have known, but literally millions upon millions upon millions and millions of people, right? And, you don't kill every single person in there. You don't kill everybody. Now, even if you look at the Black Plague that went through Europe and went through London, killing everyone in London before the 1666 fire, but it didn't kill everyone. And however it was done and however it happened and everything like that, all right, it didn't get rid of the entire population and everyone just completely vanished. Because we're looking at these reset things, and I think I'm only giving you ideas. I'm just planting seeds for you to go and make up your own mind, and you can do your own research. I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you what happened. Okay, all right. So a lot of different things happened, right? And a lot of different things connected to what's going on today if you really study and go into things, okay? And check that out. Check these names out. Gregorio de Souza, and have a look at his satellite images and everything like that. And also check out Michael Heckenberger when he's showing his work on what he actually found. And when you go on and you check them two names, you'll find other names, right, of people that have obviously been in like the same line of work and have got like similar work, and it'll show you exactly like what was there, okay? Now, and the thing is, like when he died, they never ever went back. Okay, so all I'm thinking about is we need to be like thinking about this. Okay, Satan Claus. It is Great Reset. All right, so we know who he is, don't we? You know, and we are going to own nothing and be happy. At least that's what they think as well. And we've been like doing a little bit of work today on the mortgage front and on the deed front, and we're discovering things all the time that we're going to have to do some work on that could be to our favor, but also could be a little bit scary because of what they've said about owning nothing. How is it we can own nothing if we own the house? Yeah, and it's not about giving up. It's not about you giving it up. All right, it's about things they've done before, which is about the deeds and about like the contracts and why they get hidden and why. Well, anyway, I'll go on about that in a second. But Satan Claus, okay, he's saying the Great Reset, right? He's pushing it forward. It's his own book, and he said he wrote it because of Charlie. All right, Charlie P. All right, but this was written before. Now this has been the plan, and this has been set up, and this is being pushed out for everything that we're going through. And it's been like it's been pushed forward and fast, which makes you wonder why they're pushing so hard, why they're pushing so fast now. Is it because like it's like they think they've won and they can just push it forward, or is it because they think they've lost and they're just trying to wreak as much havoc as they can before they all get killed and get rid of it all? And it's hard to say because it swings and roundabouts, and the insanity of what's going on is beyond description. It's hard to work it all out because they're thinking and they're trying to tell us that we're in like WWII. All right, they're on World War III. They're trying to say that that's where we're going, and that all this is going to happen. And now, right, what I'm talking about. I've got to be careful what words that we got to say because the algorithms pick up the most crazy stuff, especially when you got an accent. Some of the stuff I've said now, they've seen the transcripts and it's completely different to what I've even said, right? But you're looking at this this war zone, and you've got these fools, absolute fools, Bono to Bozza, right, going in there and visiting and walking around as if they're going like for a country walk and having a beer at a local pub, like in the countryside. Right, singing songs like they can't bloody sing anyway, right? Completely, utterly made up character, right? This fool here, like from like the French royal family, walking through what they would class as a war zone where you could get killed by these like huge bombs piling in. Yeah, right, okay. And they're blaming everything. It's all connecting here. And now the next thing we're going on, I don't know. I actually noticed this one. All right, the food prices. I noticed that. Right, within weeks of like the first lockdown, like noticed that the prices were increasing quickly, right, in the first lockdown. Did anyone else see that? Did you all see how quickly the prices were rising? I just thought it was mental, and it's never stopped, right? So I love to get I get big punnets of strawberries, like getting them for breakfast. So like breakfast strawberries and grapes and apples. And it's like there's about like 8 strawberries in there for £2. I'm like, woo! Like honestly, that's absolutely mental. Now look at the fuel prices, what they're doing now. And I'm going to go on to this about the fuel prices. I've got some notes that someone was giving me. Somebody sent me a video. But the fuel prices is flying up there. All right. The food prices are flying up there. These idiots are doing all this nonsense and telling us that we're in this World War III, right? It's a fact. You are being lied to. We are being lied to. This is all pushing this great reset. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not saying that you haven't got other people that are fighting it. We're all pushing back. We're pushing back. Hopefully, like, you know, the ones in the above are pushing back. So, excuse me. So now, I was listening to a guy just talking about like the fuel prices rising. Now it's going. I'm not just talking about your car. I'm talking about like the house, the gas, the electric, and all that stuff. Now we know that it's pushing up, right? And there's absolutely no reason for it at all, logically. I haven't even seen one of these like government idiots on the TV. It wasn't on TV. I never watched the TV, but I get sent clips. So they'd been on the news, and they'd said, "Well, we don't get our gas from Russia." But well, there you go. So what? You know, you've just admitted that it's going up for no reason whatsoever. Now, I was listening to this guy. Can't remember what it was on now, but somebody sent me the link, and he had been doing tons of research, and it was all about. I should get like the. I should try and find the actual link for you where you can go and check it yourself. Yeah, I'll find it later. Oh, there it is. There, it's called GridWatch. All right, now GridWatch. All right, there, look, GridWatch. 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 All right. .co.uk. GridWatch. Gridwatch.co.uk. Now, the grid that he's talking about is the national grid. He's talking about energy and he's talking about power. All right. So, and it shows you all of the power stations around the UK. All right. So, I mean, it's obviously it's going to be, it's applicable to everyone, no matter what country you're in. But on that one there, that shows you like all of the power stations in the UK and what they're doing. So we've got like a power station. I think he said it was in Selby, it was one of the biggest ones. All of the power stations in the UK, and it tells you how much they're actually pumping out, how gigawatts or all of that was. Okay. Now, the one that he was talking about, the biggest one in the country that's putting out more energy than any other of the power stations, and I think he said it was in Yorkshire. And guess what? It actually burns to create the energy. So if we're having these massive price increases in the fuel, it's probably because it's coming from Russia or something like that. It must be oil then, or it must be gas, or it must be something like that. All right. Well, it's not. Okay. It's wood pellets. Wood pellets. You know what they do? Well, they've got like all this waste material, and they're putting it into wood pellets, and they're burning this waste material, wood pellets, and they're actually creating more energy than they've ever done in the past ever. And this is all on gridwatch.co.uk. This is the website, the actual grid website. Okay, so go on and check it out and have a look at it. Find out why, or not why, but how they're lying to you. So the fuel crisis there is absolutely just ridiculously created for no reason whatsoever, apart from making everyone suffer. All right, the food price is the same. All right, you know, I mean, I've been starting to grow as much food as possible myself. I'm trying to find more land so we can go out and start growing more food. You know, but and this is what we should all start doing, trying to like look at places where we can actually, hang on, I need to move that over there. All right, so gridwatch.co.uk. Go and have a look at it and check it out. Now, the what he was also saying, which I thought this was absolutely ridiculous, which, you know, for this, I mean, it's ridiculous for this. And he was talking a lot about the cities. He must live in Birmingham, this guy, wherever he's from. He must live in Birmingham, because he was just saying, look, I've checked out Birmingham, and all of these contracts and everything that go on in the cities. Now, in Birmingham, right there, I haven't got the figures or anything like that. I didn't write them down. But he was just saying, like, these companies like Veolia, Veolia, And what they do is they're coming and they're collecting your bins. You pay the council, right, to collect your bins. Veolia, or in Birmingham anyway, they collect the bins. They collect all the rubbish, right? And then what they do is they sell the rubbish, right? What you've stuck in your bin, then they take it away and they sell it to the energy companies. All of the actual rubbish is getting turned into energy. So in reality, think about it. They are taking away your rubbish. You are paying for them to take away your rubbish, and then you're paying them for the fuel that they created with the rubbish that they took away that you paid them to take away. You paid them to take it away. They've sold it to the energy companies. The energy companies have burned it to create this energy, and then they've sold it back to you at a premium price, and it's going up all the time. Your rubbish that you paid for them to take it away, and you still think you're happy with paying your council tax. It was poll tax when it first did it. Council tax, right? How insane is that? Right? You are being lied to. We are actually being played. You know, Satan Claus pushing his great reset, right? All of this is happening on like to us right now because it's another reset, and they've done it before. They did it right to all them in the Amazon that just disappeared. How can you wipe out just like millions of people like that, and all the civilization and cities and roads and infrastructure just gone? Okay, just on that note as well, and I'm just looking at things. I'm not telling you what I believe. I'm just saying you should go out and have a look around. Now, there's a couple of beautiful places that I like to go and visit. One not far from me is called Tynemouth, on the mouth of the River Tyne, funnily enough. And when you're walking up the street, and we took a few videos and photographs, and you're on the pavement and you look in there, and you look down like into what I don't know what you would call it. The steps going down to where there's a door down there underneath someone's house, and then there's a window. You think, why would you have a window and a door that looks out onto basically what is a brick wall, and then you have to come out the door and walk up the steps? Then you go a little bit further up, and there's only a little bit less of a door, a little bit less of a door, a little bit, and then there's only this top part of the door. Why would you build houses like that that's disappearing doors all the way up? You know, just you've got to research these things and find out all these different strange, weird things going on. Do you know what I mean? Okay. It's just interesting. It's interesting. All right. So like this whole thing is getting pushed because what they're trying to create is a financial crisis. And they've been doing these financial crisis stuff for like years and years and years. All right. Whenever they want to push this reset. Now it seems that now and again they have mini resets, and then they have a great reset from Satan Claus. So we're looking at like, you know, the financial crisis that's happened before and what we're getting pushed towards now. So, right, we've got the UK gold reserve that was taken away in World War I. We used to rely completely on the gold. The pound and the gold were linked completely. All right, but they took it away in World War I can't remember. I wasn't there, right? But the story was, well, look, we shouldn't be trading gold and giving gold away to foreign countries when it's Britain's gold and we're in World War I. We're actually giving, maybe the gold from Britain will end up in the hands of the enemy. That's just the kind of story that was getting fed out there. All right, so it was taking away the gold reserve in World War I, so you weren't allowed to trade with gold. Then just think about it. I'm just giving you ideas. I'm not telling you what happened. But in the Titanic, April the 15th, right, 1912, all of a sudden it gets sunk, right, supposed to be unsinkable, and it just hits an iceberg, mysterious, all this stuff happening. And this guy here, John Jacob Astor, one of the biggest fighters of the Federal Reserve Act 1913. You got to check that one out as well, right? Federal Reserve Act 1913. That gave the Federal Reserve, right, which is the equivalent to the Bank of England, right, which is not English. It's completely owned by a private set of a family, one family, and so is the same family owns the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve Act came into force, and I think it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, or it might have been New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, but I do think it's Christmas. I'll have to check. You know, when you got all these facts and that in your head, sometimes you mix them up, right? And there was nobody in the Senate to actually vote on it, right? So it didn't even get passed properly, but it got put into force. I'm going to read out something. I've got it on the screen. I'm going to read it out to you about this in a second. All right, but this was all done by Woodrow Wilson. I think that's on the next screen. But anyway, and then after all of this is happening around like the 1912, 1913, 1914, it's a bankers' war, the First World War, right? All of this stuff happening. It's, you know, it did not need to happen, right? What they're doing is they're claiming back all them set of KV trusts that they don't want anyone to cash in, right? So the more people that they can kill, all right, with the war, the First World War, by like having everyone charge it, like, you know, when I blow the whistle, everybody jump up and run towards them machine guns, but we'll all get killed. Yeah, we'll run faster. All right, boom, get killed faster. All right, and now what they're doing is just making you queue up outside of a little van or an ice cream van, but it hasn't got ice cream anymore. It's got needles. Yeah, all right. So you got the 1930s, the USA, the Depression coming on from a financial crisis. Right, they didn't need to do that whatsoever. It's completely man-made. In 1931 and 1933, UK 31, USA 33, they completely suspended the gold standard, completely suspended it, and then made it disappear 100% in 1971. Got rid of the gold standard. So there was no tie-in whatsoever with money to gold. So in other words, all this fiat currency was completely solidified in 1971 worldwide, right? It always been introduced, but they always had the idea that it was tied on to something. We have the promissory notes. They are just promissory notes, right? I ain't got my glasses on, so I cannot see. So I'm not going to try and read it, right? But like on there, all it's saying somewhere along there is I promise to pay, all right? This is a promissory note, so you can write one up yourself. Okay. Now they made it with plastic. It is on there, so you can just see it there. I think that's what it says, but no way I can read that. All right, but so if I can't read that, does that mean I don't have to pay anybody? Think. I don't know. All right, so they got rid of that gold standard. Now in the 30s, right, this is like a really important part, and I did a lot of studying with American guys about like the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, and the going into the private. All right, and a lot of it revolved around that, and it was like the House Joint Resolution 192. So I'm going to write that down on there so you can have a look at that one as well. House Joint Resolution 192. And that comes from House Joint Resolution 192. That comes from the Bills of Exchange Act. It's not in the Bills of Exchange Act, the 1882, but it formed the basis of that. The Bills of Exchange Act formed the basis of that. Okay, so you check that out. House Joint Resolution 192 by Woodrow Wilson. All right, he was the president of the United States at the time when they did all this shenanigans. And he was helped. This is, I'm going to read this out by a guy who's called Edward Mandelhouse. Right, called himself Colonel Edward Mandelhouse, but nobody can find any connection or any service history that he was in any kind of services, the army or anything else. Okay, all right. So he was the advisor to President Woodrow Wilson. A lot of people say that he right was the handler from the cabal of Woodrow Wilson. So he was managing and handling Woodrow Wilson, making sure he did what he was told to do. President, all right, supposed to be the most powerful man in the world. And he's got some guy there that pretended to be a colonel in the army, making sure that he does what he's told. Okay, so before we go on to the cashless society, I'm not going to go over there yet, right? But just talking about this bit up here, I'm going to read this out to you, okay? If I can find me glasses. Well, maybe I'll have to do without my glasses. Oh, I got them. All right, so I've just saved this on the computer so I can read it to you. And this is from Edward Mandell House. This is supposed to be, now, I've studied with a lot of different people, and 90% of them always say that this is 100% true. Others go, well, yeah, but it ties in with everything what this guy said. So I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to find it somewhere. Give me a look. Is it on there? All right. Oh, needs it clean. Now, this is about not only the recessions and the depressions and getting rid of the gold, but it's also to do about the birth certificate fraud, right? Which is birth certificate fraud right away across the world, which is national insurance and social security. Obviously, in the UK, it's national insurance. In the United States, Canada, and maybe even Australia, I'm not sure, it's social security. Okay, just clean my glasses. All right, anyway, this is from Edward Mandell House, and he's talking to Woodrow Wilson. And he says, very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer not being able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, and we will hold a security interest over them forever by operation of the law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering the bills of lading to us, that's them, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, forever to remain economic slaves through taxation secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser. For not one man in a million could ever figure our plans, and if by accident one or two would figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will inevitably reap us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will insure us for any loss we may incur, and in this manner, every American will unknowingly be our servant, however begrudgingly. The people will become helpless and without any hope of their redemption, and we will employ the high office of the president of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America. That's by Colonel Edward Mandell House in a private meeting with Woodrow Wilson, President 1913 to 1921. Okay. All right. When we're talking about 1913 Federal Reserve Act, right? Where's the camera? Come back to the camera. There we go. That's when they passed the, I'm sure it was Christmas in 1913 when they passed the Federal Reserve Act. Okay. So everything that they're building up to and everything that they're trying to do, are they pushing us now towards, we used to have gold, we used to have silver, all right? And then they've changed it now and they put us into the fiat currency. But the fiat currency, like every other fiat currency that's ever existed, is going to collapse. The only thing that's in common with any fiat currency going through history is that it collapses and disappears. Okay? So now, are we getting pushed towards the cashless society? Right? Why would they do that? Why would you think they would do that? So I had a few calls this week. It was like someone was like explaining they had how would you put it? You know, they weren't happy anyway. They had a little bit of a kerfuffle with a checkout girl, right? And I was saying, go over there and just do it card by card. We only take card. If you want cash, you have to go and wait in that machine. There was about like 50 people waiting at the checkout till to do it with cash. If you wanted to do it by card, it was boom, done, boom, done, boom, done. All right. If you wanted to do it by cash, you had to go and wait in a huge queue. Isn't that a bit weird? I remember, right, in the middle of, might have been the first lockdown or second lockdown, I can't remember anyway. So, like, you know, I went shopping, going into the supermarket and go around, the only one without wearing a nappy. And coming up there, and I said, look, like, I've only got cash. So I used to like annoying them. And they went, oh, you have to go and wait over there then. You know, you have to do it there. You can't come here. Like, so, like, you know, my card is gonna, like, you know, kill you then. It's gonna give you a disease. All right. Just, you know, on the back of there, it just says where it's got the signature strip. It says all rights reserved. That's what I've written on the back of there. But yeah, so my card's going to kill you then. The card's going to make you die. So I have to go and pay because, my card will save you because the cash will make you die. Right? So if you pick this up, right, you're going to die. So I remember, like, going into a chip shop and I was getting some chips for some people or whatever it was they were eating anyway. And it was like walking in. He said, well, you got to stand on that spot. Like, how insane is that? Like, I mean, you know, but anyway, I said, well, look, I need to get them for them. I've got to wait for it. I'll just stand there. I'm not going to cause a fuss. Shut up, sit there. Still got no nappies on or anything. So I'm the evil one and everything. And then it comes up and it says, well, you have to put, you know, if you're not paying by card, you've got to put this, right? You got to drop it like that in the box. Got to drop it in the box, right? This is the insanity of it. Then they picked up that out of the box, right? Little thing, right? Put it in the till, picked up all these coins, which God knows who, and then dropped the coins in the box, and then gave me the box. Then I had to pick them out of the box, put them in my pockets, and then put the empty box back, which they were going to use for the next person. This is logic in their mind. This makes sense, you know, that by, like, you know, putting that in that little square, it wasn't going to give them this big deadly disease. So what's the big deal about the cashless society? Okay, forget about the House Joint Resolution bit. That was like what I was saying before. So what is the big thing then about the cashless society? All right, is it going to be that bad? Because, like, you know, this woman I was talking to, and she was saying that you know, she didn't have a go, but she just said, well, you know, do you not think it's stupid? The till woman, the woman on the till, she went, no, it's great. What's the problem? It's just so easy. You know, you go in, use your card, go home. And it was like, well, yeah, but the thing is, right, once it's cashless and once that card there and everything's tied to the bank, they control everything and they decide that you're not being the way they want you to be. And they just press that switch and you've got no money left. They press that button over there and then your bank is now completely frozen and there's no money in it. And I've seen them talking on Australian television, and they had set the cards up so if they'd stepped out of their zone, which you weren't allowed to travel however far it was meant to be, and your card switched off. So you're going there, right? If you're over here, right, and we travel to over there, and the card switches off and dies. So they control everything. All right. So this is why should we worry about a cashless society. Now, when I'm listening to cashless society, I'm not thinking about, are they just going to go and take away me pounds and everything like that, right? Are they going to go and get rid of this stuff? Okay. This is why I'm also starting to do a lot more research into this cryptocurrency and these secret coins. Hey, I can't tell anyone about it. Honestly, I've got someone I'm meeting up with them next week to try and help me with the basics. I've been trying to do this stuff. Oh, man. But, I mean, I'm trying to do this as well as all the other work. So, but honestly, I think everyone needs to start learning how to find out, because what you don't want to be is like going into this government-related digital currency and I'm having control over everything. Whenever I have any spare cash whatsoever, even if it's just 50 quid, I'm going to buy some silver. I used to buy gold, but like, can't really get much for 50 quid. So I buy some silver and I buy these little coins. You can buy half-ounce coins or ounce coins, and you can get an ounce coin at the minute. It's gone down. It's going down in price, which is good. Manipulated terribly. I can't remember now. But anyway, 23 quid, right, for an ounce. But you can get half ounce, which you've got to think might be more easily handleable. But you can sell it easier, go and trade easier on it, okay? And also, right, the thing is, you can put all that, and it's called bullion, even if it's coins, you can put that into a trust. So you can protect everything in a private trust. We've all got to have trusts. I don't care where you get it from, right? Make sure you get everything in a private trust, okay? And don't try and explain. I'm just, well, I try to explain like about a private trust to a clown. Don't bother, honestly. It's absolutely worth less trying to talk to these buffoons. That's all gone all fuzzy again. Why does it keep doing that? Every now and again it goes all strange looking like that, doesn't it? I might have to turn the camera off and redo it. Oh, it's probably because it's focusing on me because I'm so handsome. All right. Okay, give me 2 seconds. All right. Does it come back in? All right, yeah. I moved the paper. I can move it again. Woo! All right. Okay, cool. All right then, so we're going to move on, all right, to the things. I know that might be a little bit different to what I've done before, okay? Oh, look, it's come perfect again, just like me. But like, I thought it was quite important just to go over some of the stuff. And I've got a lot of different videos that I need to be doing over the next couple of weeks that I want to go over stuff as well. If anybody's got any ideas or want to know anything else, just like, give me a bell. Send it to Peter at claimastrawman.com. Just put like a video idea if there's anything you want to know or anything like that. So what I'm going to do, yeah, covered most of that. I've covered nearly everything that I wanted to do anyway. Onto there, cashless society. I think. All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to just talk about because of what have just happened. I'm going to talk about warrants for start with. Right. Warrants. Okay. But on top of warrants, I'm going to put as well. What do you call them things again? Or summons. The summons that you get from there, and also the liability orders. Now, liability orders is only for council tax. Liability. Is that right? Liability orders. Okay, now that's only for council tax. Okay, so your warrants can be for anything. Your summonses again can be anything. but your liability orders, the ones we're talking about here, can only be for council tax. So make a note on this one. If it is liability orders and they're talking about you've got a liability order, this was removed from circulation and use in law, talking about theirs, not us, right? On the 1st of October, 2003. I'm sure it was 2003. But anyway, it was a long time ago, wherever it was. And it was the 1st of October. All right. So this is completely removed from circulation. So if anybody is getting a liability order for not paying the council tax, it's completely and utterly fraudulent and fake. All right. Completely. So the thing is, what they do is you get these warrants coming out. I've been dealt with this 2 weeks on the bloody trot now. And the thing is, right, we've got two sets of courts. You've got two courts, right, number 1 and number 2, right? On the first court, let's call it the magistrate. So I'm just going to put magistrate right there. And then we've got down here county. Now, obviously underneath, we've got like all the other courts, the high courts, the chancery and all of this. This is the appeal courts and all the higher courts. Right, we can use them later, but we can't do it now. I'm just talking about the two that we're involved in, the two that happen to like most people, okay? What goes on in the magistrate's court compared to what goes on in a county court, okay? What happens? Does anybody know what the difference is? Because I tell you what it is, the clowns in the costumes, they don't seem to know. They don't seem to know at all. So I was giving them an education this week, but it didn't seem to matter to them. In magistrates' court, right, you get pulled in front of the magistrates, right, for criminal offences. Criminal offences. Now remember, it's a criminal offence, not a crime. There's a big difference between a crime and a criminal offence. A criminal offence, this has only got to do with acts and statutes. A crime is against natural law, okay? God's law, Creator's law. A criminal offence is an offence against the orders or the instructions of the corporation. So the magistrates will try a criminal offence because you broke their rules. That's what happens on there, okay? On the county court, right, that is civil or civilly, Roman law. We're all judged under Roman law, right? And there's the two sets there. Civil, right? That is definitely debt. Okay, credit card, bank loans, anything like that you do. But also it works in what do you call it? Council tax, right? It is civil, but they keep doing all these. Now what happens, right? Very recently. Right, is we have a warrant. Well, I tell you what, let's just go back to here. So what I want you to do, right, if you're getting a warrant, we need to find out who did it. If you're getting a summons, we need to find out who did it. And if you have a liability order, we need to find out who did it. Okay, right? So all the same principle. The warrants, the summons, or the liability orders. What they'll do is they'll give you the, well, usually they'll not show you the warrant. They'll go, there it is, right? Because they don't want you seeing that it's fake. Or if they've got it on the tablet, the bloody tablet, right? I mean, it's like, it's what is it, a computer game? Where you're having a go, or what's like, is it Pac-Man running around your screen, right? That is against GDPR straight away. That's a violation of GDPR if they've got your details on a mobile device. That is what you attack, all right? The GDPR violation straight away because they've got that summons or warrant or anything on there, all right? But here's the thing. Right, I'm going to go on to the other page for these warrants and the summons, okay? All right? When you're getting them on its paper, oh, it's done it again. It'll come back in a little while. Don't worry. All right. So you've got these warrants and it'll come on. Let's have a look. See what Get it, try. Never used to do that, did it? See if I move this back a little bit to there. Remove it. And then add it again. It seemed to do something good with it before, but I'll don't worry, it will. Come on. Focus, you bastard. Oh, man. What a pain in the boom. Right, anyway, I'll just talk to you and I'll tell you. Well, again, wait, come on. Focus, focus, focus. Focus. Look. Focus. Look at that. Wow. Wow, magic am I. Look at that. Awesome. Right, so you're getting these warrants that are getting issued there. Okay. What you need to do is see who it's done. And it's the same. You get the summons, right? Where or which court is it? Where or which court? So what you have to do is, right, find out what they're saying, which court it is, and what they're saying it is. Oh, bloody hell. Look at this, man. Stop doing it. Look. Focus. All right, find out what court it is. Then you need to call the real court, right? The real court, not what they've got written on there, right? So what these fools turned up here and I've got this warrant for you, right? So where is it? Boom, showing it, not showing you it. So I found out eventually anyway, whatever court it was. So I rang the court on the phone. No reference number, no idea, not ours, nothing to do with us whatsoever. But this is just on the phone, okay? So, you know, getting these arguments and everything like that. But if it's the, for you there, right, what you've got to do, you've got to get proof. You've got to get written proof. Now, you might have to go through some pain and rubbish, like, you know, if they've actually given you a hard time there and then, but then you can get it back if you get the written proof. I'm going to show you how to do it. How to do a specific DSAR, okay? All right? So, let's see if we can focus this thing up again. Yeah. There we go. Look. So we're going to do, we want to write to the court. Now, don't write to anything except the court address that they've got that states it either online or whatever. Don't write to what they say. It has to be the real court address, okay? All right? So get the real court address. Okay, now this is what I'm doing. I'm right in the middle of this now, so I'm actually going to be hammering these people. All right, so once you get the real court address, you're going to do the DSAR. So the DSAR is specific data, subject, access request. Specific data, subject, that's you, access request. SDSAR. All right, so all you want to do is you want, right, the specific data on boom, your full name. All right, so I've got Fred Smith, Capitis Maximus, right? That's what we're talking about. Right, specific data on Fred Smith, Capitis Maximus, at address 17 Smithy Way, Capitis Maximus. This has got to be so short and so specific. Specific data on Fred Smith at address of 17 Smithy Way, relevant to whatever it would be, warrant, what do you call it? Like liability order, summons, whichever one it is, right? Relevant to liability order number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever it is. Okay. Now, obviously, you start off the same thing, like notice to agent, notice to principal. On the right-hand side, this is your address. On the left-hand side is their address. And all of that, and like all rights reserved, blah, blah, blah. You do all that, but don't go 4 or 5 questions. That's the only question you're asking. Can I have specific data on Fred Smith, all capitals, at address 17 Smithy Way, blah, 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 at NE22, whatever, relevant to warrant issued number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you send it to the actual real court address. So on a DSOR, now they're going to do it. They're going to reply. It's no skin off their nose. They don't care. They're not actually going to get into trouble. The other people are. So they're going to reply. And their reply is going to be, we have no data. All right? And that's all they have to say. We have no data on you. So if you look at Gavin, when I did the video of Gavin, and he did this with his liability order, found out that the court itself, we have no data. That means they didn't issue the liability order, which means they didn't issue the warrant for me, right? So they're not coming to get me. So, but I had to go through the whole palaver of it. Now I'm going after them. So when I get that back from the court, stating point blank that there's no data, which means there was no real warrant, because we know what they do is fake, you see. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a council, all of the electricity companies, whatever you want to call them, what do you call them again? Utility companies, they all do the same thing. So they go and they have an office, and they'll go in and they'll just use their own paperwork. They'll say it's at the magistrate's address. Why? Probably because there's no room at the county court. The magistrates is a lot bigger, so they can go and hire a room or a floor. And they put the magistrates, right? Magistrates deal in criminal offences. They are putting that down. It's the wrong address. It's the wrong jurisdiction, right? And then they try and convince you. Hey, I was talking to the clowns. The clowns, yes, we do that all the time. Yes, it's always magistrates. I was like listening to it. I was like, you're a buffoon, but and the attitude is disgusting, and then when they were out here and I had to deal with this all bloody day, I can't remember what day it was, last week and then this week, right? There was no police this week, just bailiffs, but like last week. And do you know what? It was just funny because I was down in Birmingham a few weeks ago, and it was ex-policeman, and he was just talking about all they care about is the pension. Finish the job, get out the job. They hate it just as much as we hate them, and get their pension, right? And most of the time, this pension is probably not going to be there when they retire. It's all going to disappear anyway. And these clowns there, and I'm arguing with them, they're discussing the pension outside on the drive. Going through all this drama and palaver and everything like that, and threatening this and threatening that. Them doing the threatening, not me. And then it's like, then they start discussing a pension, like how long they've got to get out. Like, it was abstract. It was just like, am I hearing this? Like, this is just like pathetic. I can't believe that bit. But anyway, this is how you actually help. Now, what you do is, right, when you've got you've got to get the DSOR back. This is paper evidence. When you're ringing them, it's great, and in fact, but there's no real proof of anything, right? You need it on paper. So when they've sent it back on paper, all right. So then, what you can do then with the paper, right? You've now got evidence that there was no. Let's just call it the liability order. Okay, so I'll put an LO. Sorry, no liability order. All right. So you can do an N1 claim. Now you have to do this online. This is to the court, right? So you do it to the court. Now it might have changed slightly. Oh, how are you, man? Pain in the neck. I didn't even move that one time, did I? I didn't do anything there, did I? Come on. Come on. Did I shake too much or something? All right. Or am I giving up too much good information? So you do an M1 to the court, and you can do it online, right? Or you can do the paper claim. Okay. Right. So you're doing it onto there. All right. For what would you put that there? I'll just put like enforcing, and I don't know how to spell it. ING, enforcing fake liability order. Okay, and you've got the proof from the magistrate's court that there was no reference, which means it's fake. Then you put that in there, and what you do is right. What we have been doing, right? But not for it's like £5,000 compensation, okay, plus costs, which at the minute we think is £265 will change, okay, and you put that through to the company. Now, if you've got the proof by the magistrate's court, right, you're kind of on a no-brainer win, aren't you? You know? So this is how I'm going to do things. This is how you should be doing things, right? By getting it, and then getting the telephone number, getting the proof, the written proof. Great to have the phone proof when you're doing it, yes. But the clowns don't pay any attention anyway because, and do you know what you should all, well, I know, I don't want to go into too much else. This is what you should do. I've got other things you can do, but I'm not going to tell you about it until later, till I've finished doing what I'm doing. Maybe a little bit too far, a bridge too far, that one just right now, okay? All right, so I've got a couple of more things I want to just go over, just for a little bit of fun, if it's fun, before I shoot off. What time is it? How long have I been on? What was that? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to a little bit of language. Language. All right. All these pens are drying up. I need to get more pens. These are rubbish. They don't last very long. They don't last very long at all. Even if you can like make them focus, right? But they certainly don't last very long when you want to be writing on your board. Okay. All right. Now, this might be a little bit different for you, but in the morning, what is it you say in the morning? Okay. I'm going to wake up. All right. Oh, come on, man. Stop being a pain in the neck. Going to shoot off soon anyway, look, see? Come on. Come on. Come on. Why are they being such a pain in the neck? Have I given you too much information today, do you think? Back you go. Wake up or wake. What is awake? Why are you going to wake up? Yeah? What is awake? When you do awake, it's death, isn't it? You do wake at a funeral. Okay, you have a wake at a funeral. So they're telling you that you're all in a funeral. It's all about death. Stop saying wake up. Stop saying I am awake or he is awake. I am not awake. I am not a funeral. Okay? They're messing me around. I'm just going to crack on and finish it off. All right? So the next one we're going to say, you can listen to it anyway. And it's the same thing. Very similar to awake. And it's good morning. Good morning. Who's in mourning? Who is in mourning? You're only in mourning if it's a funeral. Okay? If it's a funeral. All right? So you're at a wake and you're at a funeral. Yes? Here we are. Right? Good morning. What they actually mean is morning. M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. Are you having a good morning? Are you having a good celebrating death? Okay. All right. So work it out. When you're talking about your job, you're going to go to a job. Okay. When you're talking about a job, what do they say your job is? What's your occupation? What's your occupation? When you say, oh, I'm a barber. All right, a barber. The occupation, what is that? It's an enemy occupation. An enemy occupation. What are you occupied? You're occupied by the enemy. All right. So they're telling you that you're occupied by the enemy. So they're going to send you to your occupation. You're actually occupying your own country under an enemy occupation. So they send you off to your occupation. Right. And what are you going to do with your occupation? Oh, well, I'm going to earn my wage. You think they mean that you're going to earn your wages. Well, really, what you're doing is you are earning your wages. You're actually getting put in the urn because you're dead, because you're getting cremated. Okay? Now, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go on to this in a second. But this is the whole thing. So they make you work all week so you can earn your wages. And then at the end of it, what do they have? They have a week end. A weekend. So a lot of people go, well, it's just the end of the week. It's a weekend. But these change it. Everything is spellology. This is all witchcraft. It's all spelling. Everything is satanic. Everything is evil. All right. And we have to learn what they are trying to say to us. You are at the weekend. You are weakened because you've been occupying the territory, right? Putting you through the earning, right? So you are weakened. You are of a weakened state. You have lost your strength. You are weaned of your strength. So then what do you do at the weekend? You relax. So what do you relax? What do you do? Okay, I know, right? But a lot of people do it a lot worse. Only have a couple and I go to bed, right? But then, okay, it is alcohol. Now, mine's just a beer, I know. But a lot of them will do spirits, right? Now, a lot of it, you break the word down, alcohol, right, comes from ghoul, which is spirits, and they're putting spirits because when you're weak, once you get drunk and you are feeling weak, then the spirits enter you, they enter your soul. This is how they take you. And then what happens? And all of this violence that happens, and all of these arguments happens, and all these bad things happens when you are full of the spirits. And it's not good spirits, it's evil spirits because you're weakened. You're in a weakened state because you've been occupied all week, right? Because you've been in mourning and all you're waking up to death. And then you're filling yourself with alcohol, with spirits, which is bad spirits, which is bringing everything down. Okay? All right? This is the language that we're learning. Now, I don't want to go on to language. The word language itself is brilliant when you break it down on etymology. Because basically it means something, I can't remember exactly what it is now, but it's like, it's the god of war that looks after the noble ones forever. That's what language means. The god of war, which is Ling, looks after or I can't remember how it breaks down now. I'll have to do that next time. The god of war that looks after the noble ones forever. Them, they think, is being the noble ones. All right. So I think that's virtually everything that I wanted to actually go over tonight. A couple of other things on there, but I think I'll leave it for next time. I know that's a lot different to what I normally do, and I would go over like remedies and stuff like that, but sometimes you just got to go backwards and forwards over different subject matter and try and hopefully help people and put this down a little bit. You know, because we're all fighting a war, and we are in a war, and it's a holy war, it's a spiritual war, but not that type of spirits that we're talking about there, but the spirits in here, right? Which is like mankind, womankind, and realizing that we are man and we are woman. We are under the creator, and the creator is the universe, and that's where the energy and the love and the power come from. And we all have to spread that energy and that love and that power in a positive way across to everybody else. All right, so that's what we're just doing a little bit different, bringing it in, spreading it out, spreading the love. All right, spreading the mankind and womankind. And this is The only way, when we're having these people turning up at our doors, they are lost souls completely. They are never going to get better. They are never going to actually understand love, right? Mankind, womankind, and helping each other. You cannot speak to these people. Now, maybe they are on their first journey here. So maybe, right, you're talking to these people and saying, well, these people just will not understand what I'm trying to tell them. But they might be on their first journey through this realm, right? We've probably been here a few times. I've been telling them, I don't care what happens, I'm not coming back, right? Send me somewhere else. I want to go to Atlantis or something. I'm not coming back on Earth. It's enough. I've had enough. But these ones that just can't get anything, and you talk to them and they look at you as if you've got 3 heads, right? These ones, probably it's the first time ever here. They're just very young souls, right? They don't have the experience that we have, because we've got I don't want to say the words up there, but we're just realizing the truth. Well, it's not even the truth, it's the words that are true, and what is actually going on here. And we're trying to fight the actual oppression and the evilness of it all. All right. So that's what I've been going through. It's been hard couple of weeks, and it's been tiring. And I actually felt quite drained and quite ill a couple of days. But anyway, I didn't want to miss tonight. That's why I've done it, and I've tried to make it a little bit different. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. All right, lots of love and faith to all of you. And I'm trying to get on again next week. I will try and do a recorded video as well of some remedy. But anyway, yeah, Bob, I will be seeing you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't want to ever come back. That's what I said. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, good. All right, so take care, everybody. All right, and we'll see you all again soon. Lots of love. Take care. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. And all the best to everybody. Okay? All right. Try not to be too depressing. I'll try my best. All right, cool. Glad you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you all in a bit. Bye-bye.